Okie dokie. Let's get this. It's giving very much like a news show, news anchor with like the table and everything.
No, with the thing in here, the camera in
It's
it. That's so
giving very
real.
much a news anchor. Okay, time to get back to it. It's honestly been so long. Hi everyone, welcome back to Simply Grace. As you can see, we're in a new space and it is nice. So we thank God for making that a possibility. And I miss speaking to all of you guys, honestly. Um, During the break, I did plan to be more active on social media, but that was not the reality of things. I don't like I had like a whole thing planned as to like a series that I'd introduced during the break, and that didn't end up happening. But nonetheless, there are people that were still checking in and like, what's up with Simply Grace? Like, when can we expect season two? Like, when are you guys gonna start recording? So it was nice knowing that there is a community that missed us. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and we are so glad to be back. Another update, we have a team working with us this season. We are so grateful to God for that. That's something that myself and Raymond have been speaking about since like the introduction episode, just knowing that we can't do everything by ourselves, and it will get to a point in time where we will need people to work with us. So thank God again for making that possible, and make sure you stick around to the end of the episode because we have a very special announcement. It's been quite a while since season one ended, and I don't know, like in that season I just felt like there was so much going on, and the season finale for me kind of felt like a clean break where I'd be able to just take a step back from things and reevaluate and get things sorted. But boy, was I wrong. Summer was so unbelievably busy for me between work and extracurricular activities. And just like meeting with Raymond and trying to get things sorted out, it felt like every day I had something new to do, and I had like no time to even just like sleep and relax. But honestly, shout out to Raymond because during this time period, he kind of kept reminding me that like yes, there's a lot going on, but this wasn't a break for us to relax. It was more so a time for us to, you know, keep momentum up and like go back to the drawing board and see what we reintroduce or introduce as we'd come into season two. So essentially the break was just a time for re-strategizing. Hey, English. Um, but I thank God so much for this time because I think He really reminded me to just take my hands off of things and just like let Him do His thing. And in about the span of a month, like things just fell into order regarding this platform. So this brought so much perspective for me, expansion and change. So honestly, when we say there's a lot in store for this season, we mean it. So make sure you do lock in. And speaking of locking in, let's move into today's discussion topic. So anyone that knows me knows for the most part that I'm a pretty nonchalant person. And in this regard, it means it takes a lot for me to care about something that I consider non-essential. And by default, it takes a lot for me to actually react. But lately, excuse my French for anyone that might take offense to these next words, but everything has been pissing me off. I can't lie, like people say this is pissing me clean off, and like things have just been pissing me clean off, honestly. I don't know what it is, what's been going on, but like I feel like I've been in these like pre crash out sessions, and then when I kind of like sit down and try to understand why I feel this way, my feelings are very valid, and I'm someone that always says like, your feelings are valid, but like your reaction is what people are going to talk about. So before I crash out, I kind of just sit down and say, okay, like why do I feel this way? Why am I pissed off? And even though my feelings are valid, it's still just a matter of understanding that okay, your reaction still might not be the reaction that's necessary in this period of time. So for example, the other day someone called me and they were asking about someone else's well-being because they're going through a situation. And valid, like this was a very nice thing to do. I do acknowledge that the person was going through a lot, but for me, I kind of felt like in that time space, I was also going through something, and this person had never picked up the phone to call me and ask me how I was doing. Valid, by the grace of God, we go through things and we always come out strong, but I still just feel like even the friend that's the strongest we never see cry, like why can't you pick up the phone and ask me how I'm doing? If you're doing wellness checks, check in on me as well. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I just felt with that situation. I really wish I had a flip phone because I would have just like hung up the phone during that call. Like, flip phones, like when people talking to you and you're done and you're just like, I'd have just done that because it's just like, yes, you're being nice and like, yes, like, do check in on your brothers and sisters in Christ. But like, what about me? And I don't know, like that's just how I felt with that situation. And actually just like thinking about it was just like pissing me off because like what about me makes me so strong woman that you guys can't call and say like, hey, how you doing as well, right? But anyways, that's beyond the point. About a week or two after, another situation that I had my rights to be upset and occurred. And at this time, like I couldn't hold it. Like I had to voice my annoyance. And this was something that I usually wouldn't do. I wouldn't do this because I'm someone that's very heavy on understanding safe spaces, and a safe space can be more than just like an actual physical environment. Like the people that are in that place, people that help you feel safe to speak, also contribute to it being a safe space. So I try to ensure that when I am speaking in my safe space, that it's in a place where there'll be like little to no misunderstanding, and with people that will just kind of listen and help out. Like sometimes you don't really need advice, you just need someone to kind of just like sit, listen, and help you diffuse, right? So I usually know when to speak and when not to speak, but I was just so annoyed that day that I just had to speak. And it was honestly giving attitude. Like I knew like my annoyance was at its peak. So I knew that like the attitude that I was giving out when I was speaking, whether it was necessary or not, it definitely came out. And I said what I need to say and I got it clean off my chest. But almost immediately after, I was questioning like, did I really have to say this much? Did I even have to say anything to these people? Because one, I was not in a safe space, and two, I was not in people that usually would be my safe space. Like I wasn't with them, I wasn't in their proximity. So it's like, why am I even speaking to these people? Like, why am I even doing this much? And I noticed that there was a pattern of me just constantly being annoyed and pissed off with things that, quite frankly, if I was in a better place, wouldn't be that deep to me. So now I'm looking like, okay, what has influenced like this whole change in like mood and behavior? And as a female, like, you're gonna check your calendar, and God bless all the females. I checked my health app and I was trying to see if there's any particular reason as to like why my hormones might have been out of balance. If you know, and there wasn't. So when I realized that that was not the case, I decided to take matters into my own hands and work on myself. And I thought that this was really essential because my mom always warns us that when you're praying for things, you need to be very mindful of our actions, because sometimes we might be our own form of hindrance. So you might be your own thing working against you. And for me, it was like, imagine praying for something and then a few moments later you're fighting. Like that could be a reality, but it honestly doesn't make the most sense. So with this, I had the understanding that there could be something on the way, and they're just like the enemy putting in like a little poison, whatever, to try and make you to forfeit that. And with moving spirituality to the side, to looking at things in like a secular or worldly lens, being easily annoyed or hypersensitive is something that could get you into trouble. So as our parents would say, it's not everything that you have to react to. And just like, watching African movies, like all of them with the same storyline, I want to kind of like create like a vision for us to kind of understand this a little bit better. So let's, I don't remember what the movie was called, but I know it happens so often that you guys probably would have seen it in multiple movies. So just picture yourself driving to work. Now it's your first day of work, you just got a job, whatever, you're running late for your job, there's traffic, you've now spilled coffee on yourself, you have to go back and change. Like it's just a very hectic morning for you essentially. And everything just seems to be working against you, but somehow you pulled it all together. You're almost at your office, you're about to get there on time, whatever. And literally as you're about to like turn in or make a turn into where you need to get to, someone cuts you off. You honk at them, you kind of go off at them, tell them about themselves, get everything off your chest because you've already been upset previously. And you pour your frustration on this person essentially. Then you now get to your office, you get there right on time, someone showing you around, doing their orientation with you, whatever. And then they now tell you, okay, like, we take you to your boss's office. And you now get there, lo and behold, the boss is the one that you went off on while you were in traffic or while they cut you off. Was your reaction valid? Partially. You didn't have to do all that, but it's just like understanding that if you weren't having a hectic morning, you probably wouldn't have responded that way. So that's just like understanding that, constantly just being in a place of like annoyance or like heightened attitude or hypersensitivity can influence the way we react with other people. Um, so like this is what our parents mean when they say it's not everything that you have to react to. So considering the circumstances, like I said, actions are very valid, but looking at the bigger picture, it wouldn't have been worth it to react in that manner. And this reminds me of 1 Corinthians 10:23, which reads, "All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things will edify." So we really need to lock in. And for this, essentially for me, it's like imagine praying for things and just asking God to show up for you in places that you've been trusting Him to show up for you for the beginning of the year. And the enemy's kind of just here trying to use whatever he can to ensure that like it doesn't happen by any means possible. So just try and ensure that you're not the person or you're not the thing that's holding yourself back from receiving whatever that would be, because it would be crazy. Imagine praying for something and lo and behold you're the one hindering that thing from coming, right? So keeping all of this in mind, I know I had to work on myself. So here are a few tips for anyone who's currently going through what I like to call a season of irritation, where you are easily annoyed and feel like it takes everything in you not to react. Number one, when you feel the annoyance coming on, you need to separate yourself. Don't stay in that environment or with those people that might have triggered you. Excuse yourself where possible. If you can't, find a way to distract yourself. This will ensure that you don't say or do anything that you will regret afterwards, and it will help you clear your head before continuing on in that situation if you can't just get a clean break and just leave. Number two, control the type of music that you listen to. So if you watched episode 1 on season 1, which is kind of like it's like a full circle moment because this is like season 2 episode 1, still speaking about music, but you'd recall that we spoke about music as well in that episode. So here we go again. As an avid music lover, with a growing musical palette, if that's like the right wording to use, sometimes I play music as background noise, and other times I'll actively go and seek out a song that's been playing on my mind. Nonetheless, it's almost impossible to deny the effects that music has on our moods. So one of my mentors who will be watching this, and hopefully we will have him here one of these days, one of these episodes, always spoke about how when he was younger, when he wanted to, be rowdy and lively and active, whatever word you want to use, he'd play Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. So for me, it's like, imagine I'm already in a state of irritation or a state of annoyance, and I'm listening to something that's very very much rowdy. And the first one that comes to mind with this is Odumodu Black's verse on War Machine by Rama. So imagine already being upset, then you're now hearing that. And Odumodu even has this very iconic line. What is it like? Strike him, pierce him, dagger him. Imagine you're upset and you're now hearing that. It's just heightening you to do something that you don't really need to be doing, right? So that's what I'm saying here. And these types of things where also being in that mindset can honestly be enough to push you over edge. So sometimes when you're in that space, yes, love Afrobeat, Odumodu is great, but play some gospel so you can calm yourself down and get back to a level-headed state. And once you've done that, then you should be good to play what you want afterwards. Number 3, find a safe space and vent. So a safe space is more than just a location. It's someone that you can tell your feelings to and your frustrations to, and they will just listen, judgment free, and they can provide advice afterwards if required. Sometimes we just need to let all our frustrations out, and that's exactly what a safe space is for. So shout out to all my girls, especially Nana. Nana's currently pursuing her MPH, and no matter how busy she is, I can send her a 20-minute voice note just pouring out my frustrations about whatever. None of her business, none of her concern, but whenever she has the time, she'll always get back to me and, talk me down and share her own advice and her own perspectives. My other girls do this too, but that's usually just a FaceTime call where I can speak to them one-on-one. But with her, I'll send her long messages and she'll take the time to respond. So shout out to her, shout out to the group chats, because the girls are always there, they're always active. So yeah, make sure you have a safe space, someone that you can vent to who's not listening to go and use it against you in the future, but listening to actually help you work your way down. And building on that, journaling or writing would be point number 4. So this is pretty similar to our last point, But some people don't like to vent to people because they have trust issues, which is valid in this day and age. So another way to get that frustration out is to write all about it. And this is also really good because it allows you to reread the situation at a later date and possibly figure out what exactly it is that had you frustrated. And it can even help you know what to do better in the future when situations like this arise. So, overall, it's just a positive way to redirect energy. And whether you're writing about your feelings or about something else, it serves as a good distraction. And I'll use this as an example. When I was writing this script, I was very, very annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. I had come back and I was just like all over the place. I was just like frustrated. But by the time I actually sat down and I was working on this episode, working on the script, by the time I was like, rereading like sentences and like going over like grammatical errors, I was distracted to the point where the annoyance kind of basically just passed, right? So writing is a really, really good point, and we will come back to that at the end as well. But our last point for this is point number 5, which is the backing of everything. Take it to the Lord in prayer. First Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that includes overcoming annoyance and irritation. So prayer can act as another safe space because it's a space where we can vent to the Holy Spirit, once again, judgment free. And our loving Father will always be ready to attentively listen and help us as we surrender and submit all to Him. So, yeah, those are my 5 to-dos if you are in your season of irritation. If you have anything else, feel free to drop it in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and welcome back once again. And for the special announcement we hinted at the beginning of this episode, we now have a website, a one-stop shop for everything Simply Grace. So make sure you check us out at www.simplygrace.online. This will include all updates regarding like new episodes, fun initiatives, and events. It'll help you to learn more about our team. And back to point number 4, it'll be a place where you can read our blog. So, like I spoke about, writing and journaling just to help you through your frustrations. Sometimes I have thoughts, team members have thoughts that are great, but they're not enough for an episode. So make sure you tune in there and, read our blog post. There's one on there currently titled We Need More Workers in the Workforce. It's a space to to comment, you share with people. Just it's been a big blessing to our team. It's been a big blessing to me, just like an outlet to share my thoughts with people. So make sure you do check it out. And as you can tell by the advice given today, all has been put in practice, especially with writing and journaling, like I just spoke about. So yeah, make sure that you comment, you share with the girlies. We spoke about how this is like a very female-centered place for this season, but for the guys as well, just any young adult who you think might be blessed by this conversation or this channel in general, make sure you share with them. Make sure you subscribe so you get updates regarding everything, full episodes, teasers, just short clips, to make sure you're locked in everywhere. So check out the website, subscribe to our monthly newsletter, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, like, comment, share, help the algorithm push it out to other people as well. And yeah, we love to hear your thoughts this season, so just make sure that you're locked in and just giving us feedback. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and just any thoughts about anybody that might have overcome their season of irritation, any advice that they might have for anybody else. So yeah, signing out today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be reading the comments to hear what you guys have to say, or to see what you guys have to say actually. And yeah, signing out, wishing you peace, love, and simply grace. Bye. All right, guys, almost forgot our song inspiration for this episode. It is Jugular Jugular by Pastor Lawrence Oyo and Great Man Takit. I think pronouncing that correctly. I was just thinking about a song that if I'm hyped up and I'm upset, a song that would help me redirect my energy if I don't want to calm down necessarily. And yeah, that was the song that kind of came to mind. So rather than War Machine by Rema and Odumodu or Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, here's a song that keeps the energy high. It's gonna help you redirect that energy in a positive manner. But yeah, toodaloo.